Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officers, officials. I welcome all my respected doctors and directors. I welcome honorable ministers and managers. I welcome honorable advocates, representatives, administrators and advisors. The most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji. It is very nice time, nice place, nice action today that we are appreciating English literature. As earlier we have discussed, the Jacobian age. Next is introduction to the age Caroline to Commonwealth 1625 to 1660. Caroline to Commonwealth. The period from 1625 to 1660 in English literature is often referred to as the age of Caroline to Commonwealth, named after the ruling monarchs of the time, primarily King Charles first and the subsequent interregnum period leading to the establishment of the Commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell. This era witnessed significant political, social and religious upheavals that greatly influenced the literary landscape. Caroline aged 1625 to 1649. The age is named after Charles I, who resigned over England from 1625 to 1649. Caroline is derived from carols, that Latin version of Charles. This age is also a part of the Puritan age, 1620 to 1660. The important facts which influenced the literature of this period are There was a civil war between Cavaliers and Roundheads. Those who supported the king were called Cavaliers. Most of them were lords and their dependents. Roundheads were those who supported Parliament. Most of them were Puritans. A group of lyric poets associated with the Cavaliers is called Cavalier poets. Richard Lovelace, Sir John Suckling, Robert Herrick, and Tom C.R.D.A.V were the members of this group. These poets are also called sons of Ben, as they were the admirers and followers of Ben Jonson. Their poems are trivial, gay, witty, and often licentious. In 1642, English theatre was officially closed on 14 June 1643. Licensing order for printing was passed. The Cavaliers were defeated. The king was caught and publicly beheaded on 30th January 1649. His death marked the dissolution of monarchy for the time being. English colonies were further expanded. Oliver Cromwell emerged as a Puritan's leader and came to power in 1649. Major writers of the period and their major works. Dunn and Howard continued writing their metaphysical poetry. Henry Wagon, 1621 to 95, and Andrew Marvell, 1621 to 1678, also wrote metaphysical poetry. John Milton, 1608 to 1674, Comus, 1634, Lycidas, 1637, Of Education, 1644, Aerophysitica, 1644. Main literary features of the age: drama declines, significantly. Literature reflects the revival of moral and intellectual awakening. Moral and intellectual awakening. Elizabethan enthusiasm and national spirit disappear. The literature scenario is overshadowed by gloom and pessimism. Critical and intellectual spirit replaces the natural outpouring of the heart. Renaissance influence continues. Three types of poetry: Puritan poetry, metaphysical poetry, Cavalier poetry. Cavalier poets appear and disappear. They are straightforward, erotic short poems with the motto Carpe Diem, disappear with them. Sermons, pamphlets, history, and philosophy are written in prose. Commonwealth period 1649 to 1660. 49 to 60. It is Commonwealth period in English literature. Commonwealth period extended from the end of the Civil War and the excursion Charles I in 1649 to the restoration of the Stuart monarchy under Charles II in 1600. Dramas disappeared for almost 18 years after the Puritan closed the public theatres in September 1642, not only on moral and religious grounds, but also to prevent public gatherings and assemblies that might create civil disorder. It was the age of Milton's political pamphlets, of Hobbes' political treatise Leviathan, 1651, of the prose writers like Sir Thomas Browne, Abraham Cowley, and Andrew Marvell. Introduction of Renaissance. Renaissance literature refers to the body of literature written in England during the Renaissance, the period which began in Italy in the 14th century and reached England in the 16th century, was marked by a flourishing of culture and art. The Renaissance was known for its revival of classical learning and the culture, as well as its emphasis on humanism and individualism when it comes to Renaissance literature. It is often categorized into three distinct periods. The Elizabethan age, 1558 to 1603. The Jacobean age, 1603 to 1625. And the Caroline age, 1625 to 49. These periods witnessed the creation of several famous works that have endured through the centuries. Among the most renowned works of Renaissance literature are William Shakespeare's plays, including Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. Edmund Spenser's epic poem, The Faerie Queene. John Milton's Paradise Lost. Francis Bacon's Ashes, and Christopher Marlowe's plays such as Dr. Faustus and Tamburlaine the Great contribute to the rich tapestry of Renaissance literature. These works serve as important literary landmarks from the influential period. In summary, Renaissance literature in England emerged during a time of intellectual and artistic growth. It encompasses a wide range of works, including plays, epic poems, and essays, which reflect the deep interest in classical knowledge and humanistic values that characterized this period. Renaissance literature characteristics of Renaissance literature up to 1616 includes humanism. Renaissance literature focuses on people and their experiences. This is different from the medieval emphasis on God and religion. Individualism. Renaissance literature celebrates the individual and his or her unique potential. This is reflected in the emergence of new genres such as sonnet and autobiography. Classicism. Renaissance authors were inspired by the literature and art of ancient Greece and Rome. This is evident in the use of classic themes, motifs, and images. Experimentation. Renaissance authors were not afraid to experiment with new forms and styles. This is reflected in the wide range of genres that emerged during this period, such as blank verse, drama, and epic poetry. optimism. Renaissance literature was often characterized by an optimistic view of life. This is reflected in many works that celebrate the beauty of the natural world and the human spirit. Works on beauty and aesthetics. Renaissance authors were interested in creating works of beauty and elegance. They often used vivid images and sophisticated language when creating their works. Exploring new ideas. Exploring new ideas. Renaissance authors wanted to explore new ideas and perspectives. Their work often raises complex philosophical and theological questions. Influence of printing. The invention of printing in the 15th century made Renaissance literature more accessible to a wider audience. This helped spread Renaissance ideas throughout Europe. Language usage. Renaissance authors were masters of language. They use a wide range of vocabulary and poetic devices to create vivid and striking images. Sense of drama. Renaissance works are known for their dramatic intensity and tension. Renaissance authors were also adept at creating complex and believable characters. Social commentary. Some works of Renaissance literature provide social commentary on the issues of the time. For example, Shakespeare's play The Merchant of Venice deals with racism and anti-Semitism. The most famous works of Renaissance literature to 1660 include the works of William Shakespeare, such as Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. Edmund Spenser's The Faerie Queene, Paradise Lost by John Milton, The Ashes of Francis Bacon, the works of Christopher Marlowe. His works of Christopher Marlowe, such as Dr. Faustus, the works of Christopher Marlowe, such as Dr. Faustus and Tamburlaine the Great, the works of Ben Jonson, such as Walpole and John the Alchemist, Donne's poems, Andrew Marvell's poems, John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. Next is introduction of Puritanism. Puritanism is a religious movement that originated in the late 50s that sought to reform the Church of England. The Church of England had separated itself from the Catholic Church in 1534. Puritans wanted to rid the Church of England of any ties to Catholicism. Puritans believe in religious freedom. They also believe that the government should enforce moral rules through punishment and that everyone should live by the word of God. And the Bible. Puritans also believe in an individual relationship with God. And that only a select few have been chosen by God to go to heaven. However, no one knows who is chosen. Therefore, everyone should try to live as sin-free as possible. Puritanism first emerged in England but grew in popularity in the New England region of North America. Although the Church of England had separated itself from the Catholic Church in 1534, by 1553 under Queen Mary, England was reverted to Catholicism. This meant many Puritans faced exile due to the growing distance many second or third generation New Englanders felt from the Puritan Church and the aftermath of the witch trials. Many New Englanders began to turn to Protestantism. Puritanism faded from popularity and became a way of living that focused on morality, austerity, and purity. Puritanism began to faction into groups such as the Quakers, Baptists, and Methodists. Characteristics of Puritan literature: there are a few characteristics of Puritan literature that are Important to keep in mind, although there is variation among genera, sermons, poems, letters, historical narratives, etc. In Puritan literature, there are many key similarities across all of them. Next feature is religious themes. Puritan literature is often characterized by its religious themes. Puritans believed that God was directly involved in their daily lives, and they sought to live in accordance with His will. This belief is reflected in Puritan literature. Which often deals with themes of sin, redemption, and salvation. One of the most famous Puritan writers was John Bunyan, who wrote the allegory The Pilgrim's Progress, which tells the story of a man named Christian and his journey to salvation. The work became immensely popular and remains a classic of English literature. Plan style. Puritans believed that writing should be clear and concise. and they avoided flowery language or elaborate metaphors. This plain style is evident in Puritan literature. Which is often written in simple, straightforward language. Moralistic tone. Puritan literature is often moralistic in tone. Puritans believed that it was important to teach moral lessons and they often used their writing to do so. This moralistic tone is evident in Puritan literature. Which often deals with themes of good and evil, right and wrong. Puritanism had a significant impact on the development of American literature. Puritan literature is an important part of American literature. It provides a glimpse into the lives of the early settlers in New England. And it reflects the religious beliefs and values that shape the culture of the new nation. Many of the early settlers in New England were Puritans, and their beliefs and values helped to shape the culture of the new nation. For example, Puritans emphasized the importance of education and literacy, and they helped to establish schools and colleges in England. They also believed in the importance of hard work and self-reliance, and these values helped to shape the American work ethic. Other notable Puritan writers include Anne Bradstreet, whose poetry explored themes of family, faith and morality. Whose poetry explored themes of family, faith and mortality. Edward Taylor, who wrote religious poetry in the style of the metaphysical poets, and Jonathan Edwards, a theologian and preacher who wrote sermons and theological treatises on topics such as sin, salvation, and the nature of God. Metaphysical School of Poetry What is Metaphysical School of Poetry? The Metaphysical School of Poetry, a term coined by Samuel Johnson in the 18th century, refers to a group of English poets from the early 17th century whose work is characterized by complex imagery, intellectual rigor, and an often paradoxical approach to themes of love, religion, and the nature of reality. The most prominent of these poets include John Donne, George Herbert, Andrew Marvell, and Henry Vaughan, among others. This school of poetry is often seen as a reaction against the smoothness and elegance of earlier Elizabethan poetry, favoring instead a more argumentative and introspective style. What are the key features of metaphysical poetry? One is conceits and extended metaphors. One of the defining features of metaphysical poetry is the use of conceits, which are extended metaphors that draw connections between seemingly unrelated ideas or objects. These conceits are often elaborate and intellectually challenging, requiring the reader to engage deeply with the text. For instance, in John Donne's poem, A Valediction Forbidding Morning, the lowered souls are compared to the two legs of a compass where one leg stayed fixed while the other moved around it. Illustrating the idea of consistency. despite physical separation. Intellectual and philosophical themes, metaphysical poets often explored themes that were intellectual or philosophical in nature. Delving into topics such as the nature of the soul, the existence of God, and the mysteries of life and death. Their poetry frequently grapples with the tension between the physical and spiritual worlds, reflecting the religious and scientific upheavals of the time. George Herbert's The Color is a good example where the poet questioned his spiritual obedience and wrestlers with the constraints of his religious duties. Paradox and irony. Metaphysical poetry is known for its paradox and irony. Poets in this tradition often presented ideas that seem contradictory on the surface but reveal deeper truths upon closer examination. For instance, in Damned Death Be Not Proud, that is personified and challenged, with a poet asserting that death itself will die, a paradox that emphasizes the Christian belief in eternal life. Abrupt opening and dramatic monologue. Many metaphysical poems begin abruptly, drawing the reader into the poet's immediate thoughts or emotions. The poems often take the form of a dramatic monologue where the speaker directly addresses a listener or the reader, creating a sense of intimacy and immediacy. Dance Daphne opens with a special pointing out. Dance Daphne opens with the speaker pointing out a flea and quickly dwells into a complex argument about the nature of love and physical union. Religious imagery and themes given the religious context of 17th century England, many metaphysical poets infused their work with religious imagery and themes. George Herbert George Herbert in particular is noted for his devotional poetry that blends personal faith with artistic expression. His poem Easter Wings, for example, is shaped visually like wings and explores themes of sin, redemption and divine grace, meter and form. While metaphysical poets did not adhere strictly to conventional forms, their poetry is marked by a flexible use of meter and form. They often employed irregular line lengths and enjambment which contribute to the controversial, conversational, and sometimes erratic rhythm of their verse. This departure from the smooth regular meter of earlier poetry reflects the complexity and tension inherent in their subject matter. Major poets of the metaphysical school: John Donne, who born in 1572, William Shakespeare, who born in 1564, Just after the birth of William Shakespeare, just after the 8 years, there was the birth of John Donne, often regarded as the father of metaphysical poetry. Donne's work exemplifies that define the school. His poems are rich in conceits, paradoxes, and complex explorations of love, faith, and morality. Then Holic sonnets and sonnets are particularly famous with poems like The Canonization and Batter My Heart, Three Persons God, showcasing his skill in blending religious devotion with personal emotion. George Herbert, who born in 1593 and died in 1633. Herbert's poetry is deeply spiritual, often reflecting his struggles with faith and his relationship with God. His work is characterized by its sincerity and simplicity, even as it employs the intricate metaphysical style. Poems like The Altar and Love are celebrated for their profound religious insight and emotional depth. Andrew Marvell, who born in 1621 and died in 1678, Andrew Marvell passed away in 1678. Marvell is known for his versatility writing, both political satire and deeply reflective poetry. His poem To His Coy Mistress is quintessential metaphysical poem combining carpe diem themes with elaborate imagery and a logical structure that builds up a compelling conclusion. Andrew Marvell, Andrew Marvell, who born in 1621 and died in 1678. Marvell is known for his versatility. Thank you all. I thank all. Thank you.